Welcome to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Madden 20 franchise rebuild, everybody. It's episode 31, and we are coming off a Super Bowl defeat to the Cleveland Browns in Super Bowl 57. After the first few years in this series, we've made some steady improvements, and we improved this year and came so close to winning the title. But after one of the least clutch fourth quarters I've ever seen, the Cleveland Browns stole this game from us, and they are now the champions going into the next year of the series. We had a missed 37-yard field goal in the fourth quarter. We had a very critical drop by tight end Dallas Tolbert, and then giving up that final touchdown to Jarvis Landry. Watching that game unravel was tough. I know we're a team that's good enough to win the Super Bowl, but we couldn't get it done. And that means the offseason is up again as we try to build this team up for another run at a ring. And we have to make some tough decisions today. We have some veterans on this team, and can we keep them here? Yannick Ngakoue, Mitchell Schwartz, those are the two main ones. There are still some other players to think about. So let's start out by taking a look at our cap situation. And of course, I always spend all the upgrade points here after a season is over. Oh yeah, Justin Beatles, he's still progressing slowly but surely, 55 overall now. We still have not seen his throw power get better. Alright, let's go to Ben Burr-Kirven now. He did have a key player too in the postseason, and I will have him on this team moving forward as a starting inside linebacker next to Devon White. I do like his skill set. He is the number 33 inside linebacker in the game. For Julian Culver, he becomes a 73 overall. 3 ratings go up. Nice pass block boost for him. And let's take a look at our salaries here. It says we're sitting on $70 million in cap space. All right. So signing Ngakoue shouldn't be a big deal, but I'm still leaning more towards the franchise tag, given that he is coming off kind of a down season here. If we can check the stats one last time. Obviously, Sparks was great. Got to get this running game better now. But the defense, while we had a nice boost from J.J. Watt, he kind of just replaced what we had become used to from Yannick Ngakoue, who ended up with just 5 sacks this season. So I want to know if that's like, a trend that's going to continue, or if it's just a down season, because it is a career low. And it's before he hits 30, so it was just a little concerning is all. Dallas Tolbert had the critical drop in the Super Bowl. He has just 55 catching. He was on the roster because of run blocking. He has now been released. Kicker Matt Gay has been mostly good in this series. That 37-yard miss was very costly, and here are his percentages over the years. Given that he has low accuracy and is coming off a 77% field goal percentage, where he missed a couple really short kicks this year, and he's also been very inconsistent from long distance, we are going to be moving on from Matt Gay as well. He's been released. Jessie Reyes, the superstar development running back, has not put together an impressive season yet with the team, and I'm no longer thinking he's going to realize that potential. So I am placing Jessie Reyes on the trade block if possible. Maybe I can't do it this week. Oh, and how could I forget about not being able to punch the ball in from a couple of yards out before halftime? There was a comment saying that we wouldn't have lost if we had Ollie Sparks to punch it in from the 1. Maybe that's true. Here's regression, though, after this season. Brashad Perriman is now feeling the effects, losing 13 attribute points. Ali Marpet loses 4. Levante David loses a lot. So I'm not sure if he'll still be on the roster next year. He might, but probably won't be playing much. O.J. Howard now loses 3 points. Vernon Hargreaves loses 6. Here's the regression on J.J. Watt and Mitchell Schwartz. They're still solid players, but now skill sets certainly getting worse. And that's the overall regression right there. Wow, Kendrick Bourne too, losing 8 at just 28 years old. I have made a 2-year offer to Yannick Ngakoue. He did not accept it. and the franchise tag for him would be worth $21.3 million. Wow, that is a lot of money for a pass rusher for one season. Mitchell Schwartz now wants a one-year deal. I am just fine offering that to him. He was solid this year for us, but he still says no. If you watched my off-season over on the main channel in the Denver Broncos franchise, you know I've had some bad luck when it comes to the off-season lately. By the way, if you guys haven't checked that out, I'm not sure if some of you don't know about my main channel or whatever, but this is my second channel, and on my main channel, youtube.com/MrHurricane, I also make sports content. The series, though, are different style. I do post-commentary, it's more edited, and it might be something that you enjoy, but I just did the first off-season for my franchise over there. It moves a lot slower than this one, but we go through every single game. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely check out the main channel. But here, hoping to reverse fortunes after last off-season with my Broncos franchise. It was a tough off-season to say the least. Do we keep Vernon Hargreaves now at age 28? It'll all be regression years for him, of course. I don't know. I feel like we have enough depth at the position now where I can look in a new direction. Don't forget we also traded for Will Tate. So if I also keep Nick Nelson, that adds a little depth. Hargreaves is solid, but I feel like I might be able to look into the draft for another player over giving him a long-term deal. We signed Nick Nelson to a one-year contract, just under $2 million, so that's added depth. Corey Clement, not going to sign him right now. Ronald Jones, he wants a 2-year contract. He had some good moments this year, and I wouldn't mind having him on the team at all. So we signed Ronald Jones to a brand new 2-year deal. I was going to let him go after his rookie season, brought him back because of injuries. Now he earns a new contract. Lil Jordan Humphrey had one really good catch in the Super Bowl, but I'm not going to sign him at least right now. Mitchell Schwartz, Yannick Ngakoue. Franchise tag on Schwartz would be 16.8. Yeah, it hurts not getting either one of these guys re-signed right now, especially with just one franchise tag. Which, by the way, I don't think the franchise tag should exist, but it does. Oh, Hargreaves wants a 1-year contract? I thought it would be a multi-year deal. If it's only 1 year, then yeah, I absolutely want him for this next season. Hargreaves. Nope. And no from Bradley Pinion. Why does no one want to re-sign? LJ Collier. How about you? 1-year deal. Yes. Mike Edwards signs a 1-year deal as well. Cole Holcomb as depth. Why not? A 2-year contract. Holcomb. Yes. So that means I have to use my franchise tag now, and I'm using it on Yannick Ngakoue. I still feel like he can be a really good edge rusher. I'm not ready to give up. I didn't want to do a long-term deal again, but I will do this mid-level quarterback salary for 1 season. We have the cap space, by the way, to still make a move or two even after doing that. Here's a look at our depth chart right now. Frederick Hughes, could he be the starting center after being taken over Ollie Sparks? I'm not sure if he's ready yet. We could still look at tackle, but we do have Culver and Booker if we want to play both of them. Culver is entering his 3rd season and is a good pass protector. I'll probably still try to bring back Mitchell Schwartz, but I'll have to think about what I want to do at center and if I can find a spot for someone young to play. Defensively, might still look for corner, might not. Obviously, Hargreaves denied our offer, so that could still be an issue. Defensive line, maybe. Can't forget about Leonard Merritt, though. He needs to get some playing time. Might play some right end this season. Let's see how many snaps he got as a rookie. Is what I did, is that enough? He only had 10 tackles and 1 sack. But he was like our 2nd defensive tackle. I thought for most of the year anyway. I think he filled in for somebody who got hurt now that I think about it, but I can't remember exactly. Let's spend some of this coach experience. I already have the offensive line injury, or free agency influence, which is what I wanted. Let's go with player progression then, and let's try to develop. Wow, I already have a lot of these bought. Linebacker works too. And I think I'll save the rest for some re-sign influence or something. It's just not useful to use it now because we're past that stage. So I'll hang on to the rest of the experience. Alright, let's see who's available. We have $32 million in cap space. Can the Buccaneers make anything happen? The top player is DeAndre Hopkins. We never saw a player like Hopkins hit the market in past series. Now, we're not going to bring him here, but it's still exciting to see that he'll be on the move somewhere. Could be Philadelphia. Byron Jones is also available, and the market for Mitchell Schwartz looks to be a busy one. So let's increase our offer here, see if we can bring him back. $12 million, 107 points. We'll see if it's enough. We certainly could use another running back, but I don't think there's anyone here on the free agent market that I want to try being the lead back. Do we see if we can make a deal? Ollie Sparks behind Darius Geis might not get a ton of playing time. Do we make a move? Getting Sparks would take a lot of draft capital, and it's probably a lot more than we should be offering. A third-round pick doesn't even get us halfway there. 2 fourth-round picks, by the way, barely get you over halfway there. I don't think Sparks is coming to Tampa Bay anytime soon, but I think there is one back actually on the market I wouldn't mind offering a contract to, and that is Miles Sanders, who is only 26 years old. He has 89 speed, and actually I think a lot of his skills here are very similar to Ollie Sparks. While everybody would love to see Sparks on this team, I think that Sanders could be the back we've been looking for, potentially. I don't know if I want to do a 3-year deal right now. I'll do a 2-year contract offer and see if we can get Miles Sanders. We also need a new kicker. And with 87 kick accuracy and 96 kick power, I would like to sign kicker Jason Myers to a 1-year contract. I'm also going to look to sign another tight end to be our third, and that is going to be Dawson Knox, who previously played with the Buffalo Bills. We'll give him a 2-year offer. Let's go to the next stage now and see if we get any new players or if I get the Rodney Hudson experience here from the Broncos offseason and get rejected by Mitchell Schwartz. We get accepted by Bradley Pinion, and that is it. But rejected by Schwartz. I gave him a really good deal. What is going on with players not wanting to sign with me lately? Hopkins, by the way, oh my. If he's playing with Julio, we got to play him twice a season. Oh no. Oh no, that can't happen. Byron Jones to Oakland. Mitchell Schwartz took less to go to Buffalo. Are you kidding me? Henderson to the Broncos. Antonio Callaway to Cincinnati. Oh, Zadarius Smith is going back to Baltimore. Come on. I'm going to increase the bid for Sanders to try and get him to sign. I think it's a solid deal. It's 74 points. Now, losing out on Schwartz does hurt, and we could look to sign somebody like Alejandro Villanueva, but I'm not going to because I feel that if the overall gap is this small, we may as well just play Julian Culver. He does have good pass blocking skills. He does still have the chance to get better. He's only in his 3rd season upcoming, so I think that it's time to just go young there, and we'll see what that does to the offense. Now getting past stage 2 of the offseason free agency, and accepted Miles Sanders, Jason Myers. So, this running back situation has been a story the entire episode or the entire series. Miles Sanders, could he be the lead back that this team needs? By the way, Jessie Reyes has been on the trade block for 2 weeks. No offers. Let's see if we can make a deal here. Tremaine Sullivan is on the trade block, and I doubt I can do it straight up here, but maybe we can make a deal to acquire a defensive lineman. Oh, very close. All right. We are going to make a trade. Jessie Reyes is going to the Tennessee Titans. If they'll accept this. Oh, come on. I don't have a 6. How about a future 6? Does that sound good? Yes. Jessie Reyes and a 2024 6th round pick for Tremaine Sullivan. So let's get to know the player that we just acquired, as the Jessie Reyes story has now come to an end in this series. So let's get to know Tremaine Sullivan, who will be more of an outside linebacker in our scheme, but I still wanted to find some pass rush help this offseason because I'm not sure if Yannick Ngakoue is going to be the starter going into the future or what we're going to do there. So we're picking up Sullivan here. Good finesse rusher, good speed and everything. I like his skill set a ton for us. So we're going to have a little bit better pass rush depth now going into this season. Now on to the next stage. Any more new Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Yes, we have Dawson Knox at tight end. And that's our last bit of free agency here. And this is a look at the new roster. We still could look for some help along the offensive line, like I've mentioned, or just play the young players and hope they develop. But I still kind of feel like, with this team's Super Bowl window open, you'd think, I don't know if I should try making a move or what. It's a tough balance because, you can play like a 77 overall tackle maybe, but then you hurt developing a player like Julian Culver, who looks ready to play, but is Frederick Hughes. Hughes at 69 overall has some run blocking skills, but against finesse rushers, he really isn't good. He can handle power, but there's a lot of work to do for him to be a well-rounded starting center. So why don't we talk about the draft now? We have a pick in the first 3 rounds, 2 4s, 2 5s, and a 7 this season. And what do we need to address? Usually, these offensive line spots aren't going to be easily addressed unless you pick high, because then you can find impact starters. We may have to look to the trade market to see if there's a center out there that we can add. I just don't know that it's smart for us to go into the season with 2 lower rated offensive line starters. I think regardless, I'm playing Culver, but Hughes, he might be a weakness along this defense or on the offensive line. And for the defense, I still think a really good defensive lineman would be a good addition for us. You could also look at the secondary for corner. So let's see what I have on the draft board then. We obviously picked very late, so we're looking at a lot of probably second round talents, unless there's some way we can move up for somebody as talented as Jermichael Beekman. 4.3 speed, great man coverage. If that doesn't work out though, Roosevelt Ecker has early 1 talent. He's projected early 2. He has 4.48 speed, really good in zone, solid awareness and play recognition, so the intangibles are great to begin, plus 22 bench reps. He should also be a pretty good tackler, so I do like Ecker quite a bit. After that, Kamal Teague has late 1 talent, good man, decent awareness. He also has 6'2 height. I talked about the pass rushers being pretty good in this class. I already added 1 edge rusher, but if I wanted to add another, the value's going to be there. Torian Betts, there's Jeremy Gabriel, who's a late 1 projected player, and he had an outstanding combine. Don't know his top pass rush move, but I'm not too worried about that. Beyond those 2, Philip Chamberlain, Marshall Lindsey. Lindsey's combine, fantastic. 4.7 speed at 250 pounds, A- finesse moves. If we want someone who can be a defensive lineman in our scheme, then we'd have to look for somebody like Bob Tiller, and he would have good power moves and fit that nicely. Given our personnel right now, I'm not against moving to a 4-3 next season. It might even help out the playing time issue here on the defensive line. I want to make sure that Merritt plays, and then obviously JJ Watt and Vita Vea would play a lot too. I have to figure out how I want to do that then. If I put Merritt here at right end, he'll probably play a little bit more. I don't know. I think we can run both schemes effectively. If we check out Collier's numbers, I'm trying to see how much he played last season. He played 385 snaps, so it's decent. That's like, what, 30-40% of the playing time then? I want to make sure that Merritt gets more snaps because he has a chance to be really good. He's entering his second season, about to be maybe a 74 overall with another upgrade, and with a player like him, I can't miss the chance at getting him to his ceiling. As I think about the center position, one thing I could also do is play Marpet at center instead, and maybe play somebody else at guard, and that player could be Adam Drescher, who does have better pass blocking than Frederick Hughes. His pass block finesse still really low. I don't know if I can fix that stuff. And given the state of the team right now, if we were a worse team, I might just play him, but I want to win a Super Bowl. So what do we try doing then in this first round? Do we try moving up because there aren't a ton of holes on the team? Sylvester Clark, really good tackle. Trading up for someone like Reuben Phillips might even make sense. 270 pounds. He can probably handle playing defensive end in our defense then. That's a choice we could make. A lot of overrated talents here. But what's the right move to make this offseason? I also didn't spend any time yet talking about the running backs in this class, but if we want to add somebody else, I think one of the players I really like is Travis Mcalister from Maine. He ran 4.51 with the best bench. He has B+ vision, B+ break tackle, and B+ stiff arms. So I like to have a power back on the roster. Mcalister could be that player. Trevante Williams, he has better speed, B+ juke, B+ carrying, good combine, and a solid prospect all around. Angel Copeland from Northern Iowa has really good elusiveness and then B break tackle as well. His bench was pretty decent, so he could be one of the more well-rounded backs in this one. Regardless though, I'm gonna have to go into this draft and simulate the first handful of picks because it's just too expensive to move up from 31 to anywhere near the top. So I'll let the draft play out a little bit. There are some really intriguing players that would add depth to our team, like an edge rusher, but as far as day one impact, maybe if we draft an offensive lineman and we reshuffle things, that would work. The draft is now underway and we'll be waiting a while for our first selection, it would appear. The Pittsburgh Steelers are on the clock, and at number 1 overall they go guard Kyle Hackett, who is a 77 overall. And the Vikings then go quarterback Brendan Frey from Tennessee. He's a 73 overall, which is really good for a quarterback early in the draft. Lucas Bradfield, safety to the Patriots, followed by Doug Hargrove to the Denver Broncos. Jacksonville, Jamichael Beekman at number 5 overall, 77 overall. Marshall Lindsey goes to the Bengals. Then off the board, Floyd McKee, the tight end from Texas. Chandler Eakin from Auburn is next. Reuben Phillips and Jay Macklin. 3 tight ends already off the board. And now we're 20 picks away from where we would be selecting. Sylvester Clark is the top player on the board, and if there's anyone worth trading up for, it's probably him. Is there anybody else? At this stage, probably not this early is all. But there's still some good players that could go mid-1 as well. The Cardinals have their top need at left tackle, by the way, so if we don't make a trade here, we're not getting him. So we've at least got to try and see what it would cost to move up 20 spots. But it looks doable. We're going to get a deal done here. Almost right there. We are going to give up next year's first round pick, and we are going to move up for the elite tackle. I think that's the right move to make here, given our roster. The trade is done. A first round pick next year and a 7th this year to move up 20 spots to pick number 11. and we're going to go offensive line. I think I want to reshuffle this line a little bit, move someone to guard, and Sylvester Clark is the pick. And Clark is a 76 overall. He was ranked 10 at True Value. We take him at 11. The only thing that hurts here is that he doesn't have a high development, but he does have a high day one overall. He may play guard right away. I'm not sure, but it's a nice upgrade for our offensive line. Making the move to get the edge rusher earlier, I think helps make this easier, because now, thinking about the future there, we at least have a backup on the roster that might be able to take over. And it's a somewhat deep class too, so there are still some mid-round options out there. And we'll see what happens. We're not going to be picking now for a little while. And there goes Roosevelt Ecker to the Lions. But now no first-round pick next season. Was that too much to give up for this team? I feel that being as good as we are, we're almost never going to be in position to take a top-tier offensive lineman prospect. So if we wanted it to happen, it had to be right there. And the Cardinals end up picking up that first-round pick, and they end up taking Kelvin Boston. So they take a player 7 less in overall. And now we'll see if we can make something happen. I'm not going to trade up again. I feel that I should sit with our pick now. Not going to be able to move up this far, though, even if I wanted to. There is still someone like Jared Derby out there, extremely strong. Nice B+ skill set across the board. Copeland is also really intriguing. Another defensive lineman makes sense. Maybe Denis Sylvester, although the strength is going to be lower than I like to see. He does have good finesse moves. Eli Floyd is a right tackle who has second-round ability with a 6th-round projection. So, maybe there were some later linemen I could have taken, but to be able to take is one that good early. Max Heenan, though, 4th-rounder. I knew these players were here, but I felt like we had the chance to take one of the best players in the class, and obviously he's the number 10 guy. Jared Derby, 77 overall. Wow, so I could have made that move instead. Higher overall, and obviously would not have given up a future 1. Wow. Didn't think he'd be that high in overall. Getting closer to our 2nd-round selection as a lot of mid-60 overall players are going off the board. Ezekiel Walton, 69. Corey Kirkendall. Bob Tiller. And we're getting very close. Max Kelly. And here we are in the 2nd round. I didn't like the trade down options they were showing me. I wouldn't have minded trading out if the deals were better, but it was basically pick up a 3 in like 20 picks and then a 4 next year, which I don't think is at all worth it. There were some really good offensive line values in this class, though, so it might hurt giving up that future 1. Still got a really good player out of it, and I wanted to hopefully get someone who could start day 1. That's why I wanted the early 1st-round talent. But looks like I could have handled that better. Here in the 2nd round, I am going to address running back. I really like what Angel Copeland brings to the table from an overall skill set. Mcalister, he's probably going to be a better power runner, and he still has pretty good speed, and he's an elusive back, which is intriguing. But Copeland, he's got that 4.4 speed, he's going to have really good agility, and I feel that he has a chance to be really well-rounded. Mcalister doesn't have the agility, he is a lot stronger, but we're going Copeland here. He's the pick, bottom of round 2, 67 overall with hidden development. They say it's a reach, but it might be a worthwhile reach. But as we know, hidden development doesn't mean that they're obviously going to be a superstar or anything. They might have superstar development, but if they develop slowly, it's still going to be a problem. So with Jessie Reyes, we never saw him reach the level we wanted. Can Angel Copeland reach that level? One thing to make note of here, though, is that he has 84 injury, which is definitely low. I'll be checking then to see Mcalister and his overall. Just felt like that was where the value was at that pick. And we've already taken an offensive lineman. Roy Green is off the board. And we pick bottom of round 3. Mcalister has yet to be taken, and there he goes. 66 overall to Baltimore. I think what stands out here is that we still have round 1 talent apparently on the board. We have a couple really good offensive linemen. We also have Jalen Burns at safety. Free safety is not a need. We could use a backup, of course. But as far as this pick goes, I think no matter what we do, we're taking someone who's going to end up being a backup. I believe the pick to make right here is Max Heenan, the right tackle from USC. I didn't think we'd be taking multiple tackles in this class, but the value is way too good to pass up on. And if we have too many good players, we can find a trade or figure out a solution. The pick is Max Heenan here in round 3. I just took the number 9 tackle in the 3rd round. Wow. I got the number 9 player and the number 10 player, and they play the exact same position with the same exact overall and development. So I probably should have done things a little differently. Another off-season gem, am I right? Always something. Oh man, okay. Pick 6 around 4. What's next? With this pick, I'd like to address defensive line. And I'm going Travis Cannon from Florida. He's a good run defender, but also has B power moves as his top skill. So, run stopper suggests he'll have some run stopping skills that we can't see. But having power moves at the top, that's a well-rounded player right there, especially with the combine. Nothing is bad there. Cannon is the pick with 70 overall. 37th in true value. 77 power, 73 block shed. We're getting deeper here along our defensive front. Dale Overton goes to the Chiefs. He did have a really good grade at safety. Trevante Williams, by the way, goes to Miami at 69 overall. Alright, bottom of round 4 now. I'm not sure if we're going to have a lot of options on the board at this stage. We have 2. And it's another good offensive lineman. We've already taken 2 in this draft alone. But he has round 2 value. We have traded out of our round 4 selection, and I have traded Adam Drescher to the Kansas City Chiefs as we are picking up their 2nd round pick next year. So we may have traded away our future 1, but now we have 2 seconds in our next draft. With us adding 2 tackles today, there really wasn't a spot for Adam Drescher on the roster. I can't believe I gave up a future 1 to get a player that I probably could have had an equivalent skill set of twice. And then I proved it by drafting 1 in the 3rd round. Like, this is weird. Like, I've done some weird things in drafts before, made some bad decisions. Like, if you're going to make a bad decision, no, here's my thing. If you're going to make a bad decision, better get a good player out of it. And at least I did that. I got a really good tackle. And I do think that overall, we tend to look too much into things like, oh, come on, I want a Greg Hollis. I do think we tend to look too much at things in the NFL like, you know, if the value was there for a pick or whatnot, when really all that matters is like the narrative around Daniel Jones would be incredibly different if the Giants took him in the 3rd round. But because he was a 1st rounder, that affects everybody's perception of him. There's literally nobody on my draft board. This wasn't a great class to begin with. I think I'm done. We have traded 2 5th round picks for a future 3. Alright. So we do have some added value then for the future. I didn't think there was anything more to be accomplished from this draft. We've taken 4 players, and I'm just done with this one. Well, that was an interesting offseason. We took 4 players in the draft. I think all 4 are pretty good. We got Copeland here with hidden development, 2 high-quality offensive linemen, and Travis Cannon. But things could have certainly been done a little bit differently, and I wouldn't have needed to give up that first-round pick. But I like the players we got. Overall, it was a weak class, and I think if there was a class to only make 4 selections, this was probably it. Here are the top players from it, though, overall. Kyle Hackett, who went number 1. Let's see, Jared Derby was a good steal later on. He has normal development. He's all around very good. And then, of course, Sylvester Clark, taken at 11 by us. 89 strength, for some reason 40 morale. Morale is already a problem for some reason. Fantastic. Jamichael Beekman, by the way, hidden development. Would have been fun to trade up for him. Zone coverage is very low, but a very interesting player nonetheless. Rashad Stallworth. There was another corner I really liked in this class, the zone corner. Who was it again? Roosevelt Ecker, hidden development, 77 overall. And where did he end up going in the draft? Would we have had to move up? He went 7 picks before our original. So regardless, would have had to move up for him. Travis Mcalister, 66 overall, 91 speed, 80 break tackle, more strength of course. So that's the running back I did not select. And I thought that they were pretty similar, but at least the player that we got did have hidden development. Really good receiver went to the Giants, by the way. Montrell Styles, 89 speed, good deep route running. Has a lot of development to do yet, but definitely a good foundation to begin. When did he go? I don't even remember scouting him. I don't do a lot of receiver scouting with this team, but he went at 14 overall. The Vikings got a hidden development quarterback, Brendan Frey, at 73 overall. They got a really good quarterback here, it looks like. Accuracies are solid to begin. He has 80 speed. Not bad. Minnesota's usually terrible in these series, so we'll see if that helps. And by the looks of things, Angel Copeland is one of the most injury-prone players from this entire class. That could become a problem at some point. Well, that takes us to the end of the offseason then. Definitely not what I was hoping for, but I still feel that our team is really, really good going into the future. I'm going to have to move around some players, though. Obviously, adding the 2 tackles when we already had Booker and Culver. Not everybody can play. Maybe I look to trade Culver now. Marpet probably going to play center, and then we're probably going to move one of these tackles inside the guard. At running back, we'll see if Miles Sanders gives a nice boost to the running game or if Copeland can make something happen. Sometimes we've seen hidden development players and high development players in general just produce in the past, but at running back, it might not be that simple. And on defense, we did not really address corner. We just lost Vernon Hargreaves, and that's about it. But we added some front 7 depth. We traded for Tremaine Sullivan, one of many trades we made today. So if things don't work out with Ngakoue, Sullivan's skill set might be enough to become a future starter. He does have back-to-back seasons with 4.5 sacks, and that is being a part-time player, playing a little over half the snaps. So if he were a full-time starter, that would translate closer to like 8 sacks a year, which is pretty good production. Plus, he's giving you a little bit in the running game as well, it appears. It's also our last year having J.J. Watt, so of course adding a player like Cannon helps for our defensive line. Merritt, though, is going to get more chances to play this season. Overall, I still feel this team is really good. It's not that different than last year, but obviously what I did in the first round will be one of the stories going into this season. And then with Frederick Hughes, what do? at 69 overall with some of these low skills. Will he ever get a chance with us? But that will do it for this episode, everybody. Please leave your feedback below in the comment section. What did you think of this offseason? Are there moves that I could have made that would have been better for this team? Let me know, and I will see you all next time. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back soon with more Buccaneers franchise. Have a great day.